Happen all the time. Should be happening.
Hey, Mark.
By my right.
Wait,
No.
We got that fight coming up.
You gotta beat it, bro.
You got that fight coming up.
Jump out. That's a nigga that just fouled, gorilla.
What happens when one of boxing's top stars, Gervonta Tank Davis, fresh from a fight controversy, finds himself lying in a hospital bed? Not from a punch in the ring but from Jake Paul backstage. That's right. Tank Davis, once thought unbeatable, was hit by Jake Paul behind the scenes. Now the boxing world can't stop talking about it. And the wildest part? Tank has finally spoken from the hospital about the incident. Let's dive in.
Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood.
Here's how it all went down. After a press event already full of tension thanks to Jake Paul's usual antics, things erupted backstage. Sources at the event say Jake was right in Tank's face, talking trash about how Tank was done and avoiding real fights to chase YouTube money. Tank, already fired up, stepped forward, because that's just who he is. He doesn't let anyone disrespect him.
Gervonta Davis just posted that he would beat the brakes off of you if you guys fight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be down. Let's run it. Like, I'll be super, super down. I don't know if
Gervonta needs Jake Paul. Let's be clear, right?
is there a height limit in boxing?
But Jake didn't back off. He threw the first punch. It wasn't meant to be caught on camera, yet leaked clips show Jake's right hand connecting solidly with Tank. The shocking part? Tank went down. Security rushed in immediately, but by then the damage had already been done. Tank was taken to the hospital and examined for concussion symptoms, giving the world its first shocking update. Tank Davis ended up in the hospital because of Jake Paul, and this all happened before they even stepped into the ring. From his hospital bed, Tank finally spoke out. His tone was calm, but the frustration was clear. He said, "This isn't over. Don't think one punch means nothing. I'm going to settle this in the ring. That's a promise." He also admitted he didn't expect Jake to actually throw a punch backstage, which is wild because anyone who knows Jake Paul knows he thrives on moments like this. Tank said he's focused on the upcoming fight, but having to reassure everyone he's okay after getting hit by Jake Paul is already shaking his reputation.
Clown.
Yeah.
He's a clown.
Would you look at it as a joke if someone, if your team was like, yo, we want you to fight Jake Paul? Would you be like, come on, man?
I laugh at him. I feel as though in my career I can't do that right now. Why I say that? Because I ain't put in enough work. Like I'm not a Floyd Mayweather. I ain't no Manny Pacquiao or no Canelo. You know what I mean? I still got actually work to put in. That's like me in the 8th grade trying to like do something like out this world to somebody that's already did their schoolwork and shit like that. So I think that I actually still gotta have my foot on the gas as far as boxing. Like,
You gotta completely take over and prove
like,
that.
Take this, Like, if I do that right now, they're gonna look at me as a joke just as well as they look at Jake Paul.
Let's take a moment because this is where it gets serious. What exactly is Tank Davis doing? This is a fighter who was once seen as boxing's knockout king, the one Floyd Mayweather even promoted as the next big face of the sport. And now he's in a hospital after a backstage fight with a YouTuber.
Tank is hung him up, shoes off, get the bag, put a plaque up, he done. Tank is done.
When you say done, you mean like not fighting anymore?
Tank is checked out mentally. Tank is gone mentally. Tank looking for the big bag, of Jake Paul, Pacquiao, something sort, and he's looking to, hey, I'll see you later. Tank is standing. He's not gonna fight Shakur Stevenson at all. I don't care how much money Turkey offered, give him 4 Lamborghinis, whatever. Tank ain't taking that fight.
It's tough to admit, but Tank has lost some of his edge. He's not the same fighter he used to be. Back then, he faced tough opponents, chased legacy, and made a mark every time he entered the ring. Now he's chasing money. Sure, every fighter does it, but Tank is avoiding the fights that really count. The biggest name missing here is Lamont Roach, who, let's not forget, humbled Tank in their first match.
Tank did that, so I know the got in his eye, but they should have countered it. They would have countered it, it would have went to Lamont Roach. What I didn't like about Tank, he was gassing up Lamont Roach way too much, and he was already talking about like retiring.
He seemed a little distracted in the fight.
That wasn't the same Gervonta Davis we're really used to seeing.
It just lets you know how corrupt like these governing bodies are, bro. If that dude took a knee, not only did he take a knee, he said, hold on real quick. Let me get this out of my eye. How is that not a point? Like,
you know, funny thing, bro, that's why I cut my braids off. I had braids, and I had the same thing. I went through the same shit. When I fought Andre, that shit was burning my eyes, so I cut that.
Tank was expected to dominate, but Roach proved him wrong. He held his ground, absorbed Tank's hardest punches, and exposed his weaknesses. That fight bruised Tank's pride, and fans immediately called for a rematch.
Rematches that you fought?
0.
What do you have to do to create enough separation where this don't happen again?
Whew, that's a good question. It's gonna be based on my training camp. I have to push myself a little harder. If that didn't get me the win, and I have room. I definitely have room. I'm not gonna lie, I have room.
You believe you fought the best Gervonta, or do you think he got some more gears?
100% for a fact. I think he might have some more gears, but I fought the best Gervonta that night. I don't want people to get it misconstrued or whatever the case may be. He's a hell of a fighter. Hell of an IQ, great punching power, good speed, and really good boxing ability. A lot of people underrate that. Don't think because of what I did, y'all think y'all can just go in there and think y'all can have the same night, you know what I'm saying, or do the same thing. He still will go upside your head and crack you, and you know what I'm saying, you might end up on the floor. Everybody not built the same, and that's what people get it messed up. He did a whole lot of things that was good in that fight, a whole lot, and I'm telling you right now, if he wasn't as good of a fighter as he was, that would have been, you know what I'm saying? I would have steamrolled him. Don't get that misconstrued. He's still the guy he is. It's just he ran into a guy that's on the same level.
And that was the storyline Tank needed, a chance for redemption. The only way to erase that night was to face Roach again and this time deliver a knockout. That would have silenced the critics, restored his legacy, and put him back in the conversation as one of boxing's greats.
Tank Davis.
Bad dude. See, what I like about Tank is Tank brings something different. You know, back in the days, everybody had something. Muhammad Ali was a mover boxer, George was a puncher, Ernest Shavers was a puncher. Everybody had something they brought to the table. Larry Holmes had a jab. Mike Weaver had overhand right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had something. That division now is full, and Tank having to be the knockout guy of the division. He the one with the main knockout power. Garcia has it too, but Tank got that real knockout power that, like, if Tank hit one of them clean, usually they gonna have a problem. So it's like, I like Tank. Every now and then, I think when he knows he can beat somebody, he probably don't lock in as hard, but I think when they bring challenges, he locks in.
Yeah, he fights to the level of his competition.
Yes,
he was doing that a lot.
And he gotta be careful of that.
2 fights ago, he was really doing that.
You feel me? So you gotta be careful of that, because if you come in and think somebody is not at your level and you underestimate them, it can get you beat. So that's the only thing I think you gotta be careful of. Other than that, Tank is a really good fighter.
But instead, he avoided it completely. No rematch, no redemption, no chance to prove himself against the fighter who exposed him. Instead, Tank went after Jake Paul.
Hello, obviously, didn't materialize. Was the next one Tank?
Yeah, I mean, that was on the 1 yard line as well, but he has to rematch, Lamont Roach. He wants to get that back. And then we'll be back in discussions with Mr. Gervonta. But man, this is the nature of boxing. You have massive fights on the 1 yard line and things just fall through.
As you're watching, like, he was a gigantic favorite, and this is on the heels of the Canelo thing. Are you like, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't know, though, because I never really thought Tank was that good. It would just take the right fighter to pick him apart, to be honest. Someone who had high activity and wasn't afraid of his power. So I always saw so many holes in his game. So to me, it wasn't that surprising that someone finally gave him some good work.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195.
Oh, wow. So he would go all the way from 40 to 95?
Yeah, I mean, it would be an exhibition.
Okay. And so what does that mean? Is that 3-minute rounds?
Yeah, 10 3-minute rounds.
And when you say exhibition, like, what are the restrictions on that?
No restrictions, just the fact that like we couldn't actually get it professionally sanctioned.
Okay. Is that still of interest to you? Like, if he wins the rematch and you beat Julio, is that of great interest to you later this year?
For sure.
Here's the real shocker. Tank facing Jake Paul does nothing for his legacy. This isn't the fight fans are looking for, and every pro knows it.
Today we're going to talk about the boxing world and another fight that Jake Paul just booked for his joke of a career against a 65-plus smaller guy than him in Gervonta Davis. Jake Paul is a circus sideshow for low IQ incels. Nobody should be falling for this carny bullshit about him being a real fighter. Gervonta is a million times better than him, so he has to handicap Gervonta's skill by being a giant lab rat with a 65-plus weight advantage over him. This is a joke. This is a mockery to the sport of fighting. You know, the best are supposed to fight the best. Why is he fighting a guy that's, you know, in his last fight, Mike Tyson, who, you know, he's got a 40-year age gap between them? You know, why are you fighting a guy that should be in line for, you know, the early bird special, not fighting in a boxing ring and Mike Tyson? Now you're fighting a guy who is, you know, tiny. He's a 130-pound fighter. You fight in the 210, 220 weight range. So, you know, this is another joke in Jake Paul's career. You know, he claims to want to be a real fighter, but, you know, he's not taking the real steps to be real fighters and fighting, you know, top 10 guys and fighting the best guys in the world. You know, he fights, you know, these circus sideshows against guys that have no business being in there against him. So, you know, I guess this is the state of boxing. It's dead. UFC took over, and, you know, this is what you get now. You get this YouTuber who, you know, is on Lizzie McGuire, and he wants to claim to be a real fighter, but he doesn't want to fight real fighters. So, you know, I think it's ironic, though. Why would he hire a lawyer to sue people that say that his fights are fixed if they weren't, allegedly? So, I don't know. It's kind of weird. You guys do the math. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Dylan Dana didn't hold back, calling the fight a joke and saying Tank and Jake are just taking money from the fans. Jeff Mayweather agreed, saying the matchup makes no sense for either of their careers.
It's kind of weird, because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting. But I mean, it really makes no sense because he's going to be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight is happening.
Shakur Stevenson was even tougher, calling it disrespectful to the sport and saying that if Tank truly wanted to prove himself, he should be fighting him, not a YouTuber.
Think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fighting.
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that, and he called cap on it. So if he won't call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it. I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
Mike Perry summed it up perfectly, saying Tank just isn't the same anymore and that he's no longer in love with boxing like he used to be.
It's big. Tank has a lot of skill, but I don't think he's the same Tank that we saw the most incredible knockouts. We saw him, I mean, Lamont Roach performed great. They went to draw, and, you know, I just don't know. And Tank walked away. I don't know if he loves it enough to beat a guy who outweighs him by 80 to 100 pounds.
And Nate Diaz was equally shocked, calling the fight strange and questioning why anyone would agree to fight with such a big weight difference in the first place.
I gotta ask you, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna do Jake Paul.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or?
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think
he's just too small.
It's just. I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
What do you think of the fight?
I don't want to lose to somebody that's. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually. I'm not hating on the fight, but I think. My thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said that boxing is turning into WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup. What do you agree? last thing, White House card, like he said, you want Conor McGregor.
Yeah, but the whole thing's on WWE. So
Right.
it's like, at least that's happening and it's getting something to talk about, something to watch. And I'm looking forward to that fight, actually.
Not everyone was critical. Rolly Romero spoke up for Tank, saying, "You really can't blame a fighter for chasing the paycheck." In his view, Tank deserves a pass for choosing money over legacy.
Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him. Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way that Stevenson thinks Tank's the best option for him, or like all that stuff, right? At the end of it, bro, we just want to do what's best for ourselves, right?
Facts.
Right or wrong?
Facts.
So just do what's best for you.
Lopez agreed, praising both fighters for landing such a huge payday. He sees boxing as a business. If fans are willing to pay, why not take the money? For Tank, it came down to legacy or cash. He chose cash. Fans are now seeing that Tank is chasing dollars, not glory. But what if he loses? Imagine going from the most feared lightweight to getting knocked out by Jake Paul. That's more than chasing a bag, that's risking his career. The weight difference makes it even riskier. Tank is a natural lightweight around 135 pounds, while Jake Paul walks around close to 200 pounds, almost cruiserweight. Even meeting in the middle, Tank is essentially fighting a much bigger opponent. It's not just a mismatch, it's dangerous. Fans might love the matchup, seeing Tank versus a YouTuber, but if Jake uses that size and lands like he did backstage, the damage is huge. It'll look like a top pound-for-pound fighter got knocked out by a YouTuber, and once that story spreads online, it could be impossible to recover from.
Tank was looking past Roach, and he wanted that Jake Paul fight, which I think Jake Paul would have beaten. Jake is way too big. Tank is 5'5", 135, soaking wet. Y'all think Tank is too small for 140. He ain't beating no heavyweight. I'm not joking. I don't think he would have hurt Jake. He would have to jump up to reach him. I don't think he would have hurt him. I tell you this, it would have gone the distance, and people would have been laughing their asses off, and it wouldn't have been good for Tank's brand. I tell you that. That fight would have went the distance. Soon as 5'5" Tank is looking at a 6'2", 6'3" Jake Paul, y'all would be like, hold, wait a second. And Jake Paul be on spread out paws with that arm out and stepping back. And bro, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. But that's a cat. Fine. We'll never get to fight anyway. So we'll never know.
This is why people are saying Tank should consider hanging up the gloves if this fight goes wrong. He made his name as Floyd's protege, the knockout machine, the fighter who could end a match with one punch. But if his final chapter is chasing YouTubers, avoiding real opponents and getting knocked out by Jake Paul, that's not a legacy, it's a tragedy.
Has gone too far. Jake Paul is taking on Gervonta Tank Davis in an exhibition bout this November. The fight will be taking place in Atlanta between the cruiserweight and the 135-pounder, nearly a 100-pound difference between the two guys. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below.
We can't overlook the tension between Jake and Tank. The rivalry between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis has been growing for a while. It didn't just come out of nowhere. Things really started heating up after Jake's fight with Mike Tyson.
Fair to call them boxers now? We talk about Logan Brothers.
I think it's okay to call Jake Paul a boxer. The only reason why I say that is because he do be in the gym. He's working on stuff. The fight that he fought Mike Tyson, I don't think he should have fought Mike Tyson because of who Mike Tyson is and the age. And he said that he didn't try to knock him out. Yes, you did. You just couldn't get the knockout. He tried to knock him out for sure.
Tank wasn't having any of it. To him, Jake was taking cheap shots at a 6-year-old icon just to make himself look bigger. Tank saw it as total disrespect. In his eyes, Jake was trying to ride the fame of a legend who helped shape the sport. Tank made it clear he wasn't impressed. He was angry, and from that moment, the tension between him and Jake only grew.
Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood.
So that's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our new videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Stay tuned and we'll see you in the next one.